Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? I know I haven't posted really anything except for like video game stuff, and a lot of that has to do with the fact, well, one, I got lazy and didn't know what to say. Didn't know what to talk about. Second thing is well, well, let me show you. I'm moving. I am like packing up, ready to go, getting ready to go anyway. And I am moving to a different state. So I am moving out of Yale, Wyoming territory, and I am moving to a better place, which you would probably consider fishy. Bad pun, by the way. I'm moving to Florida. So, trip, fall, bang, pow. That would be a disgrace. But yeah, I'm moving. And I want to tell you guys why. I actually have a few things to talk about. One is the move. Two is, well, about Endgame. Almost said Hunger Game. But about Endgame. And some of the things I discovered in there, which you may have not actually realized. So, coming up here soon is spoilers. So, please be aware of that. And I felt like there was something else I was going to talk about. I can't remember what it was now. So, yeah, we're just going to go with those for right now. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So, here is the reason I am moving. For those who do not know, I am a believer of Christ. I do go to church, which does not make me a Christian on its own. The fact that makes me a Christian is the fact that I had accepted him into my life, accepted his son as my Lord and Savior, and I admitted that I'm a sinner. I'm not a perfect child. So, yeah, I am moving. Or I am a sinner. But with this whole moving process, before it all started, I was praying for a year because my parents moved, and I've been praying about it ever since, and prayed and prayed and prayed. About a year later, this year actually, towards the summer, I think it was like May. It was either like May or June, I want to guess. Can't remember exactly the day or the month even, but I think it was around May, like at the middle of May maybe, and I prayed about it, and Lord answered. So I'm moving, and about that is that when God calls you to do something, you better do it. Because it's like Jonah and the fish. If you don't do what he tells you to do, he's gonna get you to that white. He's gonna put you in that white fish and make you learn. So you need to learn to do God's bidding, because it may be important, and you get to be. And this is not the reason why I'm doing it, but it is another reason. You get to do God's work. You get to be part of history. And being part of history is not why I'm doing this. It's because God told me to. That's basically all you need to know. There we are. That's the general idea of this. Okay, I think the video is done. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, God's called me to do something that I don't know exactly why I'm gonna go there, or the reason why He's having me go there. Let's put it that way. But it's because part of it's because I need help. To be honest, I'm beyond help, but still, I need help from my parents. I am not the best stable person in the world, so that's one reason. But the other reasons, I'm not quite sure. I know God has a reason for me to be there, but I don't know all of them. Second thing I want to talk about is, of course, I did remember the other thing, but I'll talk about that some other time, I guess. But yeah, going back to the whole thing was Endgame, the movie. For those who have seen it, and if you guys recall, and I'm gonna put this fresh out there because I don't have any way to edit. Yes, I have my computer out, but that's besides the point. The point of the being is that I'm packing, as you can see. If you cannot see it, then let me show you again. And you can kind of see my computer in the very background. But yeah, no, I'm packing and getting ready to go and everything. So I am not going to be able to, yeah. I am not going to be able to, forget that I even showed you that. But I am not going to be able to do much editing. But I did want to share with you the fact that I was moving and getting everything done. So going back to the end game. So there was a part in there, if you guys recall, and I do quote, where Captain Rogers talks about how he was a delivery guy and could not bring something up. And when Hank Pym says, well, isn't that your job, is to bring this up? He says, yeah, but my men are not feeling good. They opened up the box, and he did. Hank Pym asked, and I quote. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot that I had that on the other side. But Hank Pym did ask, "Was it going?" He's like, "Yeah, it actually was." And then Hank Pym ran down. For those who may not know that is actually an Easter egg, and for those who do not know what Easter egg that is, I'm going to explain. Okay, so when Captain Rogers was being created, all the serum for him to be a super soldier was basically erased out of existence after Hydra destroys evidence, and so on and so forth. Basically, they destroy everything they have. So ever since, they have, as it says in the first Avengers, that people have tried to recreate that same serum. One of those things happened to be, believe it or not, okay, is radiation, gamma radiation. That was how the Hulk was created. And one proof of evidence is, if you've seen The Incredible Hulk, you realize that with Stan Lee, the man behind some of this great history of comics, oh, thank goodness, when he was shown in The Incredible Hulk as a little, as a special guest, of course, but as a cameo, there we go, that's the word I was looking for a cameo, he drank soda, and what was in that soda was the blood from Banner, which in his blood was also gamma radiation. Because the gamma was a big part of Banner's blood, that gamma radiation killed him. Of course, you don't realize that it was green because it was in Banner's blood. So basically, it was blood. And it doesn't show green in the blood. But if you look back in the very first scene, you kind of see that little symbol where it was shooting, and of course he turns green. Why is it that he turns green? In every comic book, and even in the new Avenger game coming out, and please tell me what you guys think of that new video game coming out. I really want to know what your guys' opinion on that is. Are you excited? Are you not excited? So on and so forth. But going back, everything shows the fact that it was green. In fact, when Banner turns into the Hulk, into the green Incredible Hulk, even in the game, he's glowing green. Why? Because of the gamma radiation. So, gamma is basically green. And does it glow? Probably, most likely, which is why my conclusion is that in this scene, when Hank Pym asked if it was glowing, and why people were getting sick, was because they were referencing gamma radiation. Also, two more little Easter eggs. A lot of people think, and I don't know the actual guy's name, but in Wakanda, when they had that water earthquake, they think it was because they were having that war with the Marvel comic of Aquaman. Even though his name's not Aquaman, I'm going to call him the Marvel version of Aquaman just because. Are we sure it was actually him? My actual opinion is that it was Tuma. Tuma is a villain who lives underwater. He would have some kind of place to go underwater. Wouldn't that make more sense? There was one other one. What was it? Oh. Okay. Here's the other one. The arc reactor. Now, a lot of people said, oh, the Tony suit that showed in during the battle that took down the tank, that was the first of Iron Man. No. Incorrect. That is when he first appeared to the world as Iron Man, yes. But the arc reactor was part of that whole thing. Because, if you remember correctly, Tony Stark was about to die. The only thing keeping him alive was that battery. And whatever was in charging him up and everything, keeping him from dying. But when he made that arc reactor, that would kept him alive. Otherwise, he would have died. All that charge was doing was slowing down the process for him to die. Okay. The arc reactor, however, did bring back about the fourth of he was living. And that was when they first started Mark 1, which was the very first Iron Man suit in the desert when he was trapped, when he was kept prisoner. That is how he, came about to be who he was. So yes, in a way, Iron Man suits were what caused him to be Iron Man. But it wasn't the same with the tank. So that is a correction that needs to be made. It was not because of that. It was the fact that when Tony made that arc reactor, that was the beginning of it. It was him made the arc reactor, and then right after that, the Mark 1 Iron Man suit. So he was in the process of making that Iron Man suit. Remember, as soon as he made that arc reactor, he's showing the plans for the Mark 1 suit. Okay. Yes, so he was actually drawing that out when he was also doing the arc reactor. So that was actually the beginning of Iron Man. When the arc reactor, the very first arc reactor, was laid down in the water, floating, during Tony's funeral, okay, that is when, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for all this, but who cares at this point, whatever. But when Iron Man's arc reactor was flowing down the lake, whatever it was, that was a sign of the end of Tony Stark, the end of Iron Man, the end of a generation. The very first Iron Man Avenger, the very first Avenger, besides Captain America and Captain Marvel, you can't forget those guys, but the one who started the Avengers, besides, you can't forget about Nick Fury, but it was Tony Stark who also brought the Avengers together too. Okay, so, and technically it was Tony Stark, but when it was when the arc reactor was going down in the water, floating there, that was the sign of final rest, his final peace, his final goodbye to everyone. Tony's heart. Okay, the proof that Tony had a heart, that was a sign of it no longer beating. So yes, it is the sign that Tony Stark had a beginning and the end. So those are the three kind of Easter egg-ish things I found in there, and what the meanings behind them were kind of thing. I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on this. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, come on, there's some pretty good evidence there. That, and I'm a movie nerd, and I love watching movies, so yeah. Go ahead and quote me if you want, but anyway, you don't have to. The other thing was, you know what? No, we're going to do that another time. I think I overstayed my welcome. It's 13 minutes in. Might as well go. I just want to give all that, and wish me luck on my move. I will miss you guys. I will not be on here for quite some time. I'm going to be taking some vacation time as well. So, I will not be on here for some time. I will not be posting any video game recordings or anything like that. So, I will be off for some time. So, sorry guys, I won't be on. Wish me luck. I'm probably going to need it. Yeah, so take care everybody. God bless. Remember, God's always with you, whether you know it or not.